Welcome back to the Junior B Breakdown. It's episode 4. We're back here in the cozy confines of the Cold Lake Energy Center. I'm here with my co-host, Chet LeCheddar, and I'm doing Lotshammer.
Well, we got a bit of a shorter week.
And even a shorter show.
Yeah, it's a bit of a short show around here, folks.
That's what happens when Turkey Day hits the calendar.
That's right. Half the league is eating stuffing, and the other half was in a food coma. I was back in Bas-Saint-Laurent, living off some of the finest tortilla and gravy. And let me tell you, Dwayne, I'm still in recovery mode.
I spent 6 hours driving to Tabor to visit family, and I spent 8 of it trying to find a gas station pumpkin pie that I could eat. Whoa, my truck is still digesting that trip.
We've got some great hockey talk coming your way.
Absolutely. We caught up with head coach of the Vermilion Tigers, Dan, who's got some great insight on his squad this early season. And we're hoping actually to catch up to one of the Tigers players before this podcast goes to air.
Yep, we always have that Quebec time deadline before Friday. And of course, we're going to include our Around the League segment, looking at all the highlights and headlines from a short but spicy week of Junior B action.
All that and more right here on the Junior B Breakdown. Now let's drop the puck.
It's Chet LeCheddar here, joined by Danny Haygarth from Vermilion Tigers. Coach, before we get into some of the stuff here, just want to say thank you for joining us, and maybe you could just share a little bit about your hockey history and how you came to be part of the Tigers organization.
I've honestly been coaching for 30 plus years now. I started coaching. I played 4 years of junior. I came back to Lloyd, kind of sat around for a year, and then another buddy of mine who was playing in the Western League was done, and he came back too, and he's like, hey, why don't we get into coaching? So started coaching at 22 years old, me and him. We started coaching at that time, midget AA team in Lloyd, and coached that for 2 years. And then I moved on to the Junior B Bandits. I was an assistant coach there. And then I was a head coach, co-head coach with another friend of mine for 2 years, where we won league both years. We won provincials both years and represented Alberta at Westerns for 2 years. So actually Scott Hood, who coaches in Cold Lake, he played for me way back when, back in the olden days. So after that, I moved on to Junior A in Lloyd. They were the Blazers then. I was an assistant coach for 2 years. And then my third year, I was the head coach of the Junior A Blazers. And then when I was head coach, my wife and I started our family. We had twin boys. So I kind of stepped back from coaching, got into doing, the minor hockey thing. And then, years went by here. I did a little stint in Onion Lake. I helped finish a year there 1 year. But other than that, coached my kids through all of their minor hockey. I got 3 boys and a daughter that all played. So I seemed to coach them. And then during kind of COVID, I was sitting on the couch with my wife, and I'm like, I'm bored. I got to find a hobby. And she's like, well, why don't you get back into coaching? So didn't think much of it. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, I'm not on Facebook. My wife is, and there was something from the Vermilion Tigers that they were maybe looking for a new head coach for the year. So she's like, put your name in. So I did, and went out and interviewed, and 4 years later, they hired me, and 4 years later, I'm still coaching out there. So it's been a great experience. It's been, great to get back into the game, back in behind the bench. And I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with out in Vermilion.
So you're commuting most days out to practice? You're still in Lloyd?
Yeah, still in Lloyd. And, we're a mix of, our team is, got quite a few kids from Lloyd. We got quite a few kids from the Marwayne area. And we got a bunch of kids from Vermilion that are either going to school or are local kids around there. So, we're kind of carpooling from everywhere. We're within a half an hour of Vermilion. Is where a majority of our kids. We got a Kitscotty kid, we got a Paradise Valley kid. So, we're about a half an hour, all the way around there.
Well, it's great to have that representation from all over the league. What drew you to, besides the fact that your better half probably wanted you out of the house for a bit?
Yeah.
She's probably like, go find something already and get out of here.
Yeah.
What makes that community of Vermilion, a great community to coach in?
You know what? There's a lot of pride. It's a team that's been around for more than 50 years. The town's really behind us. They give us fantastic support. In 4 years that I've been in Vermilion, we've gone from, when I came in, we were kind of a lower middle of the pack team to being now, I feel, one of the top teams in the league. And we couldn't have done that without the town supporting us so much through sponsorship, attending our games, and, just having, kids coming out to the games and things like that. Like we do, when we're playing on a Friday night, we get pretty good crowds and we got a great support. And you know what, people are proud to come watch us play. So it's the community's really taken us in, and we're really happy to be representing the town in the Junior B League.
So just getting into the season, you had a great start so far, top of the league, 6-1, I think, is what you're at right now.
Yeah.
So how are things? Maybe just talk about the team, the team makeup. We always ask coaches, like, are you veteran heavy? Are you rookie heavy? Are you kind of a balance? And where do you see this configuration of players here based on their experience?
You know what? I think we've got 8 rookies this year. So we got 17 guys that have either played Junior B somewhere or played for us last year. So, we're about 2/3 veteran, 1/3 rookies. We're a confident group. When we only got to replace 7-8 guys a year, it's pretty easy for myself and my assistant Stetson McDonald to kind of, sit down with our other assistant Hayden and kind of say, okay, what do we kind of need to replace here? And now we're getting kids that are phoning us that want to come to our organization and play for us because we are competitive and we do have a good team. And so it's been easy to recruit, to be quite honest with you. We seem to use, I think, out of our 8 rookies, 5 of them were affiliates with us last year and played games with us and got to kind of come through the playoffs with us a little bit, and we're with the team. So, it's easy to convince those kids to come and play for you when they've been a part of kind of a playoff push and things like that and got opportunities the year before. So, we're a confident group. We go into every game thinking we're going to win. And our boys are willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. This is my 4th year out there, and this group that we have this year is probably one of the hardest working groups. Our practices, the compete level in our practices are the best that I've seen in the 4 years that I've been there. And you know what? Our guys hate to lose. So they're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Our guys basically check the egos at the door. Like I've got 25 guys carded right now. And so we got to sit 5 guys a night, and, they're not all hurt, that the guys that are sitting out in the stands. And so I got to tap guys on the shoulder and say, hey, you got to sit tonight. And guys aren't pouting. They understand the situation that we're in, and they're just happy to be a part of it and willing to do whatever it takes to see our team be successful.
Well, that's good. It sounds like you really have done a good job with the crew to set the tone. Can you talk to me about maybe how some of the more veteran players are helping the younger players, and how they are helping everybody get on board with, it sounds like, the team mantra and the team expectations?
We got a great group of veterans. I've got my captain, Rowan Quist, has played 5 years. An assistant, Ian Cook, has played 5 years. Got Riley Applegate. He's another 21-year-old. This is 4th year in the league. I got Dan and Pavka as my other assistant. He's played 3 years. But they all lead by example. They're all hardworking guys. They're not fancy. They show up every day and work hard, just like they were an 18-year-old rookie coming into the league. So I think when your young guys come in and they can see, your veteran guys and how hard they're willing to work in practice and what they're willing to, sacrifice to come and play junior B hockey. It's easy to get the young guys to buy in. And when you've been successful in the past, it's like, this is the expectation when you come and play for us. This is what we're going to do. And this is how we do things here. And, either you fit in or you're going to leave. So our guys know that, they understand that. And so it's been quite easy with the leadership group that we have to get the young guys on board.
You guys have had a lot of production and right now when we did our breakdown or a rundown of last week, we've noticed that consistently, like the scoring leaders in the league are all from the Tigers, led by 3 players, Michael John, Caden Davidson, and Jackson Touton.
Yeah.
Now, being from Quebec, hopefully that's how we say Jackson's last name?
It's Touton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we won't get offended out here in Quebec. We'll make sure, we understand in Alberta we anglicize a lot of great, fantastic French names, but that's okay.
You betcha.
So what makes these 3 such effective players at this level, and what are they showing, in the dressing room and on the ice? Maybe talk more about what's happened on the ice with them.
You bet. Like Kate is a skilled hockey player and has like just an absolute bullet for a shot. He's probably one of the most skilled guys in our league. He came back from playing, 2.5 years of junior A hockey. So, he can really play the game. He's when we need a big goal, he seems to be that guy that we're looking towards on the bench to go and rally the troops and get the guys going. He quarterbacks one of our power play units, and he's just, his patience is just everything about him. He's a good hockey player. Jackson, like Tui, he can skate like the wind. His speed is his biggest asset. And when he gets an opportunity, a lot of times if there's a loose puck and it's a race between him and a defenseman, it's not even close. And when he gets a chance to finish, he scores. He scores goals for us. So he's been really good. And honestly, with Caden, he's been one of the biggest surprises for us. He was voted our most improved player last year by his teammates. But this year he's taken his game to another level. He's leading our team. Besides being one of our top scorers, he's leading our team in plus minus at plus 12. He kills penalties for us. He plays on the power play. He's not the biggest, strongest guy on the team, but when he gets the puck on his stick, he holds on to it and he shows patience with it. And he makes plays that you're like, wow, like I didn't see that one coming. His hockey IQ is just off the charts. He makes good decisions all the time with the puck. He's been really incredible. But, one of the guys who we haven't mentioned is our defenseman is Ian Cook. Ian came back to us as a 21-year-old. That was probably the best news we got in the summer, that he was going to come finish his junior career with us. He plays 25 minutes a night against the other team's best offensive guys, but he also pushes our offense from the back end. He quarterbacks another power play unit. I think he's got 9 points this year in 6 games. He sat a game because he had to work. So he's averaging 1.5 points a game as a defenseman. And he's the one that really kind of spearheads our offense from the back end and breaking us out of our zone, getting us good opportunities to attack with speed. And, he's one of our biggest offensive pushers by far on our team.
One thing that has to also be mentioned, I think, and we keep mentioning him almost every week, is Aiden Fox, lights out so far, one of the best save percentages in the league. And what has he meant to your team's confidence and your defensive identity and backstopping the boys?
Foxy's been, he's been incredible. It's his 3rd year with us. We have 3 goalies that we're running with. We have Ryan Stowe, who's also a goaltender with us, and like Stowe was named the top goalie in the league last year. So we feel we don't have a starter and a backup. We feel that we've got starter 1A and starter 1B, and that's what we do. Throughout the year, our goalies will typically play every second game type thing. So we like to flip flop, so it creates some competition throughout the year, so that when we get the playoffs, it's like, okay, who's stepping up and who's ready to go. And Aiden has really started well this year and provided us with great goaltending. I think he's only given up 1 goal in 3 games, to be honest with you. So, he's been lights out, and, he was a big reason why we got to beat Wainwright 2-1 in the second game of the year. He was outstanding in Wainwright that night, and, he's just carried it on. So we're starting him against Wainwright on Saturday. So hopefully he can keep it up and he keeps, kicking out pucks for us. So we'll hopefully continue that.
Well, that's a great matchup coming up for the weekend between the two teams. Maybe we can just talk about just a couple more questions, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
With these, you talked about how, it's a team effort. You talk about the expectations. How are you going to keep these, keep the reins on these guys as the season progresses? Because you're right, confidence comes with winning, and collectively as a team believing when you walk in the locker room, hey, we're going to get this. We're going to put our bodies on the line. How do you keep these players grounded and focused with this early success throughout the whole season?
Honestly, it's just remind them we haven't won anything yet. They don't hand out trophies in October. We've started out well, but to be one of the top teams in this league, and honestly, one of our goals is to end up first place in the league this year, and get home ice throughout the playoffs. So, it's just reminding them that, winning isn't easy. Losing is easy. You make a little more mistakes. You don't play discipline. You worry more about yourself than about the team. And just reminding guys, like, the only points that we care about is the 2 that we're going to get to win when we win a hockey game. And you know what? I think that for us, it's not worrying about the other team. It's coming in and playing our game. We know what we need to do to be successful. We preach defense wins championships, and we've given up 9 goals in 7 games. And if we can continue to do that, we're going to be very successful this year. So, we're, I think with our group, we've got enough guys that have kind of been through the playoff battles and faced, some disappointments. Like, 2 years ago, we were up 2-0 in the finals against Wainwright, and they came back and beat us 4 straight to win league. And then last year we lost to Lloyd in the second round in game 7, in front of 1,400 people at the Civic Center in Lloyd. And, I think that losing builds character, but it also teaches you lessons on what extra you need to do this year to be successful. So, we've taken the lessons that we've learned, and hopefully we can kind of put it all together this year and take that next step and get a championship brought back to Vermilion.
Well, it looks like you're off to a great start. I have a couple other really important questions about rink food and rink burgers. So that's part of my research around the league is, so when we head down to Vermilion here sometime in the next little while to catch a game, I've been there lots for lacrosse. It's a great barn. So what am I trying off the menu that I should be trying on the concession?
You know what? I don't get it often. You look at my physique, you think I would often get the chance to taste the stuff there, but my go-to there would definitely be the bacon cheeseburger. I know the one day one of our players had it looked like a steak poutine, and it looked really good too, actually. So I think those would be my 2 that I would recommend to people. That's for sure.
Well, you're speaking my language there with poutine. Well, in Quebec, we say poutine. We don't say poutine out here in Alberta, but
you betcha.
That's good. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Coach, and also good luck this weekend. Got 2 big games. You had a home game and an away game, which is nice. Pack the barn, and I wish you all the best with the rest of the season.
You bet. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach Dan. Great to have you on the podcast. What are we going to do now?
Well, this is a time where we usually talk about, what happened in the last week throughout the league. So we can probably, have a look around the league. Chet?
Let's go.
So our first game of the night looks like we're going to go down to the Vermilion Stadium where the Lloydminster Bandits took on the Vermilion Tigers. Early in the first period there for your Lloyd Bandits, Cash Parkins potted a goal at 3:12 of the first, giving Lloyd a 1-0 lead. And that carried them on through until the third period when one of the leading scorers of the league, Cade Melkinjohn.
I'd probably say Michael John. But we'll get that straightened out here when after we're talking to some of the players down there. Looks like he potted a power play goal just as the third period started, giving Vermilion back on the board. And about 13:19 of the third period, where Maddox Woodbury potted a goal to put Lloyd ahead, and there was no turning back after that, rolling on to a 2-1 Lloyd win, putting them at 5-0 on the season. The tail of the tape here, if you look at all of the penalties. This was another spirited affair, and just showing you how much these two teams like each other. Man, that's a lot of penalties.
No, for sure. You're looking at it. I know we talked about, how one team's always trying to get the leg up on the other, but I think this one was just a spirited event, a nice tight hockey game. Like I said, it was 1-0 going into the third with Lloyd with the lead. Vermilion ties it up, and they just kind of battle it out, and Lloyd comes away with that 2-1 victory down in Vermilion.
All right, Dwayne, game 2. This is back-to-back for the Tigers, Thursday, Friday. But hey, all that means is they had more time for turkey for the rest of the weekend at the Vague Recreation Center. Looks like it was another strong performance for the Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers come out. Looks like they actually didn't start the scoring. We had Vegreville start the scoring. Brody Van Engel started the scoring out there for the Vague Rangers. Not too long after that, Kate Davidson evened it up for the Vermilion Tigers when then Ty Parrington kind of put one back for the Rangers, putting them ahead 2-1. And just before the period ended at about the 1 minute mark, Cade Michael John made it a 2-2 game going into the second period there, Chet.
Yeah, it looks like Cash Kapchak carried on for the Tigers in the second on a power play at 8:04. And then the third period.
Looks like the Tigers kind of do what the Tigers have been doing kind of all in this early season, is just getting a couple more pucks past the opposing goalie and taking that to a 5-2 victory for the Tigers.
Third period was a flood. They had a red carpet laid out or something to the penalty box, and just back and forth. Vermilion, Vegreville fighting, game misconduct, fighting. It is what it is. So
it's showing. Like we talked to the coach of the Vague Rangers early in the season, and he said that he's got a young team and they just got to find their stride. And now they're getting on the board, but they're also showing that they're not going to back down from anyone. Especially looking at that third period of penalties, like they put a lot of penalties that try and probably get back in that game. It just didn't work out for them then. But kudos to the Rangers for not bowing out in this one.
Yeah, we had a couple guys from the Tigers that had multi-point games. Caden Davison had 3 points, and Cash Kapchak also had 3 points, and they each had a goal and 2 assists in that game.
Yeah, and it looks like Aiden Fox got the night off, giving the protecting the net to Rhett Jamison. Looks like he had 23 saves on 24 shots, so shout out to Rhett.
Yeah, great job, Rhett. Let's move on to our next game. We're good.
So third game of this week's recap is going to have us down in the Clancy Richard Arena down in St. Paul, where Cold Lake Ice took on the Canadians. Kind of, I wouldn't say in a back-to-back, but it wasn't a back-to-back because they played last week and now they're playing again this week. What's your thoughts, Chet?
Well, great performance for the Ice. I know Coach Scott will be happy with that. 4-0 victory in an away game. Like even getting distracted by all the Putin at the Clancy Richard Arena.
That's what we heard from Coach Harvey, that they put on a nasty Putin there. So if you're down in that area, make sure you have one. But, Brett Gascoigne started the scoring for the Ice in the first period, kind of a feeling out each other, kind of back and forth game, not many penalties either. Going into the second period, it's still a 1-0 game for Cold Lake, where Noah Fedor, one of the rookies for Cold Lake, pots his first goal from an assist by your player of the game, actually, Josh Butt. And then Sam Sawchuk kind of made it 3-0 there, kind of midway through the period. And then rolling into the third period, Andrew Grisella, great little lacrosse player, had a chance to, ref him, a little bit of coaching with him, so know the kid pretty well. It's good to see that he's putting points on the board for the Ice there.
Unassisted. Great job, Andrew Grisella.
Yeah, shorty.
Penalties, not too bad. It's actually like really quiet. I can put all of the penalties on my screen at the same time right now.
Yeah, the last couple we've had a 2 or 3 pager. So just like I said, it was a pretty tame game. Everyone kind of was just filling their roles, working to that 4-0 win for the Cold Lake Ice. Mark Peddle, I'm going to give a big shout out to him. 28 saves for the shutout. And it looks like between the two goalies, Boston Carter and Cale Rupp, that kind of split the game there. It looks like Cale being one of the rookies this year for St. Paul, he got a couple goals let on in the first period there, opening the gate for Boston to come in and kind of close it out there.
Yeah, great job, Ice. And we know that next time these two teams play, it's the Canadiens are not going to roll over.
No.
Okay, we got the final Friday night game down in Killam. Still haven't been down there, but maybe in the future. Bisons come into town and take a 3-0 W over the Wheat Kings. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, so starting off the scoring, Grady Priest, about halfway through the first period, put Wainwright Bisons up 1-0. That was our only goal until the third period, where Braden Aker scored at 15:42, making it 2-0 for the Wainwright Bisons. And then
as I'm scrolling down here, it looks like Grady Priest. Congrats on the hat trick here, Grady Priest.
Chet,
what's going on here, Dwayne?
Those are penalties, not goals.
Well, then, good work, Grady, for working hard, getting the goal, and sticking up for your teammates. Looks like you're doing a great job of that here.
Looks like Riker Singer actually got that third goal there, Chet, for Wainwright to close out the 3-0 win for
Apologies, Grady. We look forward to your to talking about your hat trick in the future. Winning goalie, Lachlan Jenner, 31 saves.
31 saves. Great job out there. Not to be overdone, the Killam goalie there, Ethan Edwards. He had 38 saves on 35 saves on 38 shots. So, still a great performance by Ethan Edwards. Even though it was a loss, still putting up great numbers.
And going back to Braden Aker, he was the lone multi-point scorer for the Wainwright. So good job. Shout out to Braden Aker.
Perfect. Now we'll head over to our last game of the weekend. The last game of the weekend looks to be October 11th, where the Killam Wheat Kings roll into the brand new Service Energy Hub down in Lloyd. I haven't been there yet, but I heard there might be a road trip coming up for the old Chet and Dwayne.
Yeah, I think we're going to pack the truck full of cheese curds and
Mountain Dews.
Cheese curds and Mountain Dews. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever we can do to support the Tabor sugar industry.
That's right. You betcha. So maybe we'll head down to Lloydminster there and check out a Bandits game. Looks like Lloyd went out to a 2-0 lead with Cade Dennett and Adrian. Oof, that's going to be a tough one.
Adrian Bugera. Bugera. Adrian, give us, find us on Instagram and spell it out phonetically. We don't want to disrespect your name, so please let us know how to say it.
Adrian Budera.
But it's a G. Bugera.
I was hoping you could put that in the
Adrian Bugera.
Bugera. I'll say
We're
it
not
again.
cutting
Ready?
this out. We're keeping this live. Well, second period, looks like the Bandits continue their domination. They get the next 3 goals. Cade Dennett and Colin Altman and Joel Webb carry on. That's 5 goals. And then we had a response.
Yeah.
Ethan Allen, not just a great furniture company.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that, but
Yeah.
can also put a goal in the old net.
Yep. Good job, Ethan.
So breaking the shutout there for Lloyd. Killam gets on the board just before the third period starts.
Yeah, and then Killam starts strong with another goal. Dylan Cruchin.
Followed up by Maddox Woodbury. Makes it 6-2 for Lloyd, where again, Adrian Bugera
We're going with it till we know otherwise.
gets that 7th goal for Lloyd. And then towards the end, about 6 minutes left, Dylan Kirchton scores the 3rd goal for Killam, and that seeming to be the last goal that they'd score there, letting Lloyd out to a 7-3 win. Looking at the penalties, actually not a bad breakdown on the penalties. Looks like every team was kind of just doing what they had to do out there to try to get the momentum. It was kind of evenly split penalty wise. But yeah, it looks like Lloyd will come out of this one with a 7-2 victory, putting them at 5-0 on the season.
Yes, just wanted to also multi-point games. We like to do that. So Jordan Gagnon with 2 apples, Dylan Cruchin with 2 goals, and then on the Lloyd side, Cade Dennett with 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points, and also Adrian Bugera or Bugera. Just please let us know. Also had a multi-point game. Winning goalie Shea Stewart, man. Phenomenal performance. So that's it. That was the turkey trot game, and everybody went to their respective billets or back home, and then they got started. Let's take a look at what happened let's take a look at the standings.
Yeah, so after the third week there of Junior B action, we have the Vermilion Tigers out with 12 points, sitting at 6-1 on the season, followed up by your Lloyd Bandits, 5-0 on the season with 10 points, tied with the Cold Lake Ice, who are 5-2 on the season. Followed them in 4th place. Got the Wainwright Bisons at 3-1-2. The St. Paul Canadians at 1-4. The Killam Wheat Kings at 1-5. And the Vegreville Rangers at 0-6, but they're starting to come around, Chet. Looking, like I said, we don't get to go to all the games, but looking at the score lines and stuff like that, we see that they're starting to put pucks in the net, which was a little tough during the beginning of the season. But, now they're starting to put the pucks in the net. And you're going to see some things change here.
Should also be noted that the Bandits have 2 games at hand, and the Bisons have a game at hand, and other teams, the Canadians and the Wheat Kings and the Rangers each have a game. So there's only 2 teams in the league. The Tigers and the Ice have played 7 games. And so after this weekend coming up, I expect that we're going to have some changes in the standings for sure. So,
for sure.
Looking towards the weekend, maybe we should talk about what's going to come up this weekend here, starting on Friday. The Canadians are heading over to Vermilion. That's a quick drive. Vermilion Stadium to take on the Tigers. Ice are going down. That's might be following the bus. Maybe we can. Coach Scott will give us a ride down there to see the new Synovus Energy Hub, and then Wheat Kings heading to the Rangers on Friday to the Veg Recreation Center.
Saturday has the Wheat Kings coming into the Cold Lake Energy Center to face your hometown Ice. That's a 7:00 start, followed up by the Rangers down at the Clancy Richard, taking on the Canadiens at a 7:30 start. And then to finish off Saturday night's Tilly will be the Tigers and Bisons, actually in Provost, kind of a neutral site game for those guys. Good luck to both teams on that neutral site.
Yeah, and wrapping up the weekend at 5:30, kind of an interesting time in the league. You don't see it very often. 5:30 Sunday in Wainwright. Bandits head to Bisons to keep that rivalry healthy. So looking forward to seeing all the score lines after this weekend, and hope everybody gets out to their local barn, maybe hits the road, grabs a coffee and hit the road and go check out some games around the league.
Yeah, and just to kind of wrap up this session here, Chet, I think thought we'd give a shout out to the kind of scoring leaders right now. We have Cade
Michael John. We'll start that again.
Yeah. So I thought one last thing here before we switch off for the evening here is take a look at the scoring leaders around the league. For your Vermilion Tigers with 10 points, Cade Michael John, tied with Cade Davidson, also from the Vermilion Tigers with 10 points, and Jay Touton.
Yeah, Jackson
Touton with 10 points. Honorable mention with 9 points and 8 points. You got
Ian Cook, looks like.
Yep, for Vermilion Tigers, and Mr. Cap Jack with 8 points. So good job on Vermilion for running the gauntlet of the scoring leader.
Yeah, so the top 5 are all Vermilion Tigers. And, that's just, that just shows they played 7 games and only 1 loss. So they are on fire, and they're definitely the team that everybody's chasing early on in the season.
You betcha. Thank you, Chet, for being with me on Around the League.
Yeah, let's wrap it up here.
Hello, folks. It's Chet Cheddar here. I'm joined by captain of the Vermilion Tigers, Rowan Quist, who is graciously given some of his time to hang out with us and answer a few questions about the start of the season. Rowan, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Rowan, let's just maybe start like we do with everybody from all of our interviews. Where did you grow up playing hockey? And who were kind of some of your first people that got you into the sport and supported you in the sport?
I grew up playing in Marwayne, small little village, and people who would have got me into it would probably be my dad and my 2 older brothers.
And so do you have a lot of competition with your older brothers?
We used to, more than now. We're all kind of growing up, and that's went away a bit, but definitely used to.
Yeah, it kind of makes you have a little bit of a drive because you always want to, be competitive with your older brothers.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did you come about going to the Vermilion Tigers?
Well, funny enough, both my brothers, they were both actually on the team when I was in my third year midget there. So I decided to play my third year midget in Vermilion so I could play with both my brothers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so this is your 5th year, all playing all 5 with the Tigers. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So off to a good start. You even had a great season last year. I think something like 37 points in 34 games. Is that coincidental with your jersey number?
Yeah, meant to do it like that. No.
So that's a strong output, though. Last season was kind of like a turning point for you with output and contribution and also leadership. So was there a point last season where the phrase goes where you found your stride? It's kind of overused, but is there a point last year where things just kind of clicked, or was it about the whole season that was something that was part of your game that you worked on, or how did you have such a productive season last year?
Honestly, I didn't really change anything. It just felt good from the start, and honestly had a quicker start than finish that year, which is usually quite the opposite for me.
That's it's still a good amount of points, more than a point a game throughout the whole season. And this year you go from being a regular contributor, and now you are captain of the team. So what has been your focus to working with the team and leading them as a captain as opposed to your roles before?
Not a whole lot's different. Just try to make sure that not everyone's down on themselves when, say, we're trailing. Try to keep people up and stuff like that.
Good. From your vantage point on the ice at practice and just being around the guys, what is the identity of the Tigers roster right now? And what are some strengths that you feel are defining this special group, as your coach said, the special group of guys this year?
I'd say our team's strengths are like super gritty and hardworking, physical, and just everyone wants to win. They show up on time for practice, show up early games. It's just a good group that wants it.
And now, with your experience, you're the one of the wily veterans in the locker room. And so, how are you using that with the younger players? Is it more on the ice? Is it off the ice, or a combination of both? A combination of both?
Yeah, I'd say it's a combination. It's like I'll speak my mind more than I used to in the room a little bit, and yeah.
6-1 is a great way to start the season. Right up there in points. The top 5 scores in the league are from your team. You guys have played 7 games. So, any of your line mates or teammates that really bring out the best in you as a player?
Uh when it comes to bring out the best to me, I'm not sure, but we got guys like in the locker room. We have a guy, Ryder Zilmar, who reads the lineup and gets everyone fired up. So there's that, and there's guys in practice that are always giving it, like Pavka and battle drills that bring up other people's compete levels.
And for yourself, either stats or other personal goals, do you have any specific things that you're setting as your number one priority and your number one goal for the season?
I think my goal, along with the whole team's main goal, is just to win the ship. We've been close multiple years now, and that's all. That's all I really care about this year.
Yeah, everybody's kind of gunning for Wainwright this season, and it's creating a very competitive league, especially in the top few teams here so far.
Yeah, no, they're a good team.
What are some of the things that your team is doing off the ice? Coach mentioned about how there's such a pride in the community of Vermilion and the pedigree of hockey and the idea of being a Tiger as part of the organization and being a fan and being a Tiger from the time you're a little kid all the way up. Well, what are some of the things that are great about playing in Vermilion?
It's a good town. There's lots of good people, and you meet lots of through 5 years. I met a lot of good friends just that came to the college that played for our team, and it's got a lot.
So as you're thinking about what your time at Vermilion has meant, what are you planning on doing after junior hockey for being involved with the sport? Have you thought about that at all, Rowan?
Yeah, I have. As soon as I'm after this year, I'll probably be headed back to Marlene to play for their senior team, play with my friends and brothers that have came back.
Well, that's good. That means you can pretty much play till you can't move anymore. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of the mark that you're hoping to make, not only by winning the ship, like you said, bringing on some rookies, supporting the young guys, and laying the groundwork, laying the path for future years of Vermilion Tigers. How would you like to be remembered by your teammates and the fans at the end of your time? Maybe not just by points.
Really, just an easy guy to be around that never really caused any problems, and a guy that always showed up and gave it his all every game.
Now, typically, who do you usually play with on your line? Or is it all over the place right now?
Flip-flops right now in the early start of the season. It's kind of been all over.
Now, Coach said you got about 7 rookies. How are you seeing those guys come up this year?
They're good. They're looking good. They look ready.
Who's your rookie?
Garner.
Okay. Now the ice do a little bit of karaoke on the bus, and the
rookies have their usual rookie duties, but any gentle way that you're getting some work out of your rookie?
Yeah, mostly just water bottles and like get our sticks taped and loading the bus. But we got our sights set on a rookie idol soon.
That's good. It's a nice thing to bring out. Okay, Rowan, number 37, ready to go. Got a great start to the season, but we've got some important questions here. And if you're okay, before we head out here, we'll do some rapid fire, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So one that wasn't on the list, but I added, or maybe I did, tape job on the twig. How do you do it?
Just pretty much standard around the toe. White tape, black tape, doesn't really matter.
Perfect. Toe to heel, heel to toe.
Heel to toe.
Okay, sounds good. Your favorite NHL team you've been cheering for most of your life.
Same as everyone around here, the Oilers.
Good answer. Didn't have any weakness earlier in your life when you were little and cheer for another team, did you?
No.
Good. Player who has influenced you the most and you've maybe tried to model some of your game after them.
Patrice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And what about him? What do you like about him?
I just like when he plays both ways good.
Nice. Any pregame superstitions or routines that you have?
Early superstitions, but try to eat like usually chicken and rice and some sort of vegetable before the games.
Wow, very well balanced. So this might be an easy question, but the toughest opponent, now I'm going to say the team and then a player that you've faced so far in any of your 5 years.
Yeah, it'd be Wainwright. And I'd say probably Dalton Irvine on Wainwright in my earlier years.
Yeah, I know a lot of teams are getting some AAA guys and some junior A guys, and the speed overall has definitely increased.
Mm-hmm.
So far in your junior career, what's your favorite goal you've ever scored?
That one, I don't even have a clue. My favorite goal I've scored.
Fair enough. Honest. Well, maybe it's to come this year.
Yeah, we'll say that.
One area of your game that you've tried your hardest to improve over either this year or over the past few years since you started playing the league?
I'd say just trying to be patient and also working on shots stuff.
Awesome. Now, if you could pick a dream line mate, pro or otherwise, who would it be and why?
Like a simple answer of Connor McDavid, because he's pretty clearly the best player right now.
Yeah, pretty impressive with the hometown discount and all of that.
Yeah.
So now probably some of the most important questions for me personally. I heard of some sort of Coach Danny told me about some sort of poutine he saw somebody with, but what is the best item that your go-to item on the concession menu in Vermilion?
Honestly, through 5 years, I don't even know if I've had anything from the concession, but I know a guy you could talk to that could tell you the whole menu. That's Caden Anderson on our team.
Okay. Well, maybe next time I get down to Vermilion to watch a game with Dwayne, we'll have an interview with him and we'll do some concession reviews. But if you can tell him if he's getting some menu, you could always tag us and we'll figure out a hashtag so we can maybe have a debate about who has the best concession food in the league. So that's awesome. Well, Rowan, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining me and giving us a little bit of insights into the league. I wish you all the best for the season. I know you guys are going to be battling hard, and I hope everything goes well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That does it for episode 4. I think we finally worked off all that turkey just in time to find some fresh poutine on the road.
Nothing like a little ringside gravy to keep the energy up, especially on a road trip to Lloydminster coming up.
You know, we're bringing the mics and maybe a fork. Thank you, everybody, for listening this week.
And now you have the breakdown.